And God still gave you grace, and still gave you mercy, and still you got blessed, and still you got increased. It has been a long time since I have done a Passages with Rob. I don't know if I'm going to do it regularly or not, but I came across a scripture that I had to share with everybody. So I'm going to get right into it. Exodus chapter 4. Moses in Exodus 4 is at the burning bush. So this is like the first weird miracle thing that Moses has ever seen. And God is telling him about this big project that God has Moses set up to lead. The big project is leading the people out of Egypt. And Moses has all these questions, which is fine, because when you have a big project, you probably want to know the answers to a lot of your questions. And God does like miracles using Moses's like stuff, his rod and his hand, and just normal things to kind of help Moses get the answers to his questions. God turns Moses's staff, his walking stick, into a snake. Then he takes Moses' hand and turns it leprous, makes it have leprosy, and then heals it. All these things in front of Moses. God is doing like all these miracles, and then God gives Moses a really simple instruction in the project. This is like the first step of the big project, which is go to Pharaoh and give him this message, which is it's very simple instruction. Go to Pharaoh, give him this message. And Moses is like, but the thing is, I can't talk good. And so God, who just turned a rod into a snake and changed a hand to be leprous and back, and all this other stuff, and is talking through a bush that is currently on fire but not burning. This same God is like, no worries on that, bro. I'm going to give you what you need to say. All you need to do is go. I'm going to be right there. I'm going to be with your mouth. You don't got to worry about all of that. And so Moses is just like, can you have someone else do it though? And so that's where this verse starts to get in my business, because in my project doing world, whether it's in the church or whether it's at my job or whatever it is working with people, like Moses had a really simple instruction. Like it was very easy. It was very clear. And still Moses was like, yeah, but can you have someone else do it though? And so here's the verse that got into my business that really was like, dang, I be wrong about stuff. it said, so the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. And he said, is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he can speak well. And look, he's coming out to meet you. When he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. And that really got me, because God was mad. God was mad because Moses got everything he needed. Okay, he got instructional aids. He got proof that the stuff works. He had simple instructions, easy to follow. You don't have to use your imagination or your brain or your skills or nothing. You just got to go. And then God promised he was going to do all the work. Moses had everything he needed, and yet the incompetence level, he was off the charts. He had the simplest of instructions. So simple. And he still said, but can you have someone else do it though? And then God got mad, which makes sense to me, because I'd be mad too. I'd be giving instructions and aids and help and making it really easy for people, and they still don't be doing what they're supposed to do. And so I get God getting mad, because I'd be mad. And then God didn't do nothing else. He didn't yell at Moses. He didn't fuss at Moses. He didn't cuss out Moses. He didn't make Moses feel bad for being incompetent, even though he was being incompetent. And I don't have no other explanation as to why Moses was being incompetent, because every concern he had was completely resolved, and he got simple instructions like, what is going on here? And God didn't do nothing. He accommodated it. He was like, oh, okay, I'll have someone else do it. But you can still lead the project though. What? Excuse me? But you can still lead the project though? But I'm going to have someone else do this part you don't want to do? While God was mad? Son, I be mad like at work and in projects with people at, in various groups at in church or real life or whatever, whenever you have to work with people, you're going to come across incompetence. And it's so frustrating. And my normal bent or lean is to first make them understand that they are screwing up right now, and then either get them to do it or just have someone else do it. Be like, all right, clearly you're not the person that needs to do this project. and just move on from it. And God didn't do that. And so then I'm starting to think, like, that's grace. God responded with grace, and he did what we would call coddling people and allowed Moses to kind of get away with it. He doesn't do that all the time. And I'm not saying every leader should always let anybody do whatever they want to do. But how many times have you needed God's grace? How many times has God given you specific instructions and you didn't do them, even though they were simple, even though you have every evidence to believe God, every evidence to trust that God's going to do what he said he was going to do, and God still gave you grace and still gave you mercy, and still you got blessed, and still you got increased, and still you're way past where you were supposed to be, and you got to the place that you're in right now in your life, you've gotten to only because of God's grace, because it could have been and should have been a different way. And then I have to sit back and realize that I need to give that same grace to some other people. I need to give that same grace to somebody else. And so I can't sit up here and be so judgmental of the people that it seems to me to be easy, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't give them grace. In case you were wondering, Lily, say hi to everybody. Say hi. Yeah. This is all the background noise. She is making all the background noise while I talk to you. But she's very cute, isn't she? Yeah. Hi, cutie. Well, her hair's a little messed up. Let's fix that. That didn't help. That's okay. I'm being a dad. This is what dads do. Okay. We need to give people grace because we needed grace. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Exodus 4, grace. Check it out. Okay, bye.